All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to drop the music down because I have a very, very, very bad habit of not dropping the music down in time. And Salic is back. Perfect
Boom.
timing. Perfect timing. All right, there's a bunch of new people. Soul7, Kits, a bunch of you guys. Thank you, first of all, for joining. God, I love Meth, which I think I'm going to nickname just Meth for this game, has joined. However, we're going to just jump right into game number 1 here in half a second. However, I do need to ask Soul Lord if he can jump out of spectator mode so that I can get into spectator mode so that I can actually spectate the game, because I can't shoutcast a game if I'm playing it. So
it looks like he actually can't get out of spectator mode because there are 4 people in. He would have to basically leave the game entirely.
Right,
I don't know
but
if
he's already logged into. He's on the stream, and he's locked in for game number 2. He's joined the queue for game number 2. So now I can do that. Now I can do that. And Phantom of Temp snuck his way in. Oh, Phantom! That was so dirty. So dirty.
Disgusting.
Oh,
disgusting.
That was beautiful. He was waiting and ready. Phantom actually said earlier, and I was the one I was going to invite first, because he actually was number 8 on the list for invite on the queue, and just boom, perfect. Oh, you guys are so good.
Spam OP.
Let's go then. Meth, start us up. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and roll right into it because we've already got our team names. So team 1 is team HowBoutDat, and team 2 is team Taco Sauce. So it's going to be a pretty fancy, fun time for XLNC Shoutcasting. I'm excited. It's Tuesday. We're going to rock and roll. For those of you who are new, we do this every Tuesday. We shoutcast up to 3 games, or at least 3 games. Shoutcast 3 games, and they are made up of anyone can join. Now, long term, when things get really crazy, we'll start to section out between like bronze through golds and plats through everything and up. And so that way we get a little bit more fair teams. But as of right now, anyone can play of any skill level. Anyone can jump in. It's going to be a fun time. Irelia, Zed, banned away by Team HowBoutDat, and the Vi and Draven banned by Team Taco Sauce starting us off. Vi is somebody that I just recently picked up for a single game in the jungle, and she's pretty darn strong. I don't know why she isn't played more often.
Well, one of the reasons that I see she's not played as often as she should be is people just generally don't know how to use her kit effectively. You have a lot of, you've got the short-term gap closer as well as the jump over the wall. You've got a long-term hard CC as we see the Ashe and Kaisa bans coming out as well. So 6 AD bans. Coming out with those new AD items that we saw come in with this most recent patch, and Wincarnation hovering that Alistair and locking it in. They should be very scared on the other team right now.
Yes, Wincarnation on this Alistair has proven time and time again after getting multiple MVPs and honorable mentions. If you look down below on the stream, there's actually a list that we keep, a concurrent list of MVPs and honorable mentions, because at the end of every game, we give 1 MVP and 1 honorable mention per team, losing and winning team. You can feed 0 and 15, and if your team did worse than you, there's still a chance that you might get honorable mention or MVP. But anyway, Reincarnation has won so many MVPs for his just immaculate play on this Alistar. We'll see if he does it again. He's paired up once again with TSM Double Lift in the bottom lane. Can anyone take them on from Team Taco Sauce's side? We'll have to see if they can bring something to the table to stop this duo from HowBoutDat. It's just insane.
Absolutely. And you've got the Amumu and Ari locked in for Taco Sauce. So they've got a lot of AP. Amumu enhancing the damage coming out of the Ari and also out of the Morgana as well. So they've got a lot of AP team fight presence with Amumu's Curse coming in. Lucian locked in for TSM Double Lift. He is, like we talked about with Wincarnation's Alistair, we've seen TSM Double Lift's Lucian out the wazoo, and he is amazing with it. It's very interesting to note we've got 3, we got Olaf as well coming in. 6June still sitting on the teleport, so it looks like it might be a top lane Olaf as of right now, as compared to jungle, but he does still have a lot of time to switch that summoner up.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because there's a lot of things that could change, as well as, I know at least for me personally, the spells are the last thing that I lock in. I'm more concerned with making sure that I'm picking the right champion, setting up my runes. Honestly, there's still a little work that I'm doing on memorizing every single detail about those runes that it usually takes me a little bit longer, and then I switch the spells over. We'll see what happens with that. I like the Morgana pick by Social Bun, though, especially because he's trying to play against an Alistar. If Alistar starts to headbutt in and you get a good eye and you know where he's going with it, you can throw that Black Shield before Alistar even gets there. The headbutt's negated, the knockup's negated, the entire engage is negated. And so if Morgana is completely on top of these spell shields, it's going to stop a ton of Wincarnation's engage. That also said, Ahri and Amumu are both great champions versus the Alistar that we've talked about already, because Ahri has such great mobility, and Amumu is just going to go tank. He basically says, Alistar, come at me, I want you to come here, I'm going to throw down my ultimate, I'm just going to snare you up and tank you for days, let's go. And Xayah on top of it, also a good champion. Throws out avoids all CC. This is looking like just an anti-Alistar so far from Team Taco Sauce, but we've got the Pike coming out.
Boy.
How about that? And that changes everything.
It does, especially since that Pike is hovering Smite right now. I have seen a couple of jungle Pikes. They haven't been all as intimidating as I would like them to be, but that additional mobility along with the full camouflage moving through the jungle is going to be extremely important. Plenty of CC to lock down his targets once he does get to a lane. This is going to be very interesting to see how Catinator does on that, as we see Phantom of Temp lock in the Orianna as well to round out that team composition. A lot of centralizing. Basically, they want to pull people together and then blow them up. If Orianna can land a good shockwave, Alistar gets his headbutt pulverized combination on top of that. Olaf can throw an axe through. Pike can start ulting everyone. That's a big wombo combo coming out of blue side right now.
Indeed. So we'll see if they can pull it out and come through, especially when it comes to the team fight. I mean, Amumu has great team fight potential as well, especially with Kled using that charge to get the entire team moving in. As they have pick potential with a Morgana Dark Binding, but it really does, I think, come down to the grouping power of that Morgana, or the Orianna and the Alistar. Olaf just going to be smashing through, while Lucian's culling is just going to be decimating. However, that said, HowBoutDat needs to get to that team fight stage. Honestly, it might even be worth it for them to group on the earlier side. Whether or not they've taken turrets, they might want to start grouping around the Drake, grouping around the Rift Herald, and getting that combo power down. Whereas Taco Sauce wants to keep the laning phase engaged. Kled is a great 1v1 champion. Morgana being able to pick off people with that Dark Binding with good wardage. Ahri, especially, is a nice assassination for either Pike because he's in the jungle, or Lucian if he's trying to roam and get some wards down. There's so much pick coming out from Team Taco Sauce. It could be very heavily in their favor if they hold the laning phase as long as possible.
If they hold the laning phase as long as possible, as well as if they're looking, I mean, like you said, they're looking for picks. If they can pick off one target and then engage that 5v4, that's probably what I'm looking for out of Taco Sauce. The 5v4 is very strong for them, especially if they can take out one of those finishers. If they can take out the Pike or the Lucian primarily, yeah, they can get hit by a big shockwave, but if there's no real follow-up to that shockwave from the Pike or the Lucian, it is very possible that Taco Sauce walks away with team fights despite the massive wombo combo coming out of HowBoutDat.
Absolutely. But before we get too far ahead, let's go ahead and roll through the players and their champions. For Team HowBoutDat, we've got Wincarnation playing that Alistar in the bottom lane. We've seen it time and time again, coming out once more. 6Jun with the Olaf in the top lane. TSM Double F on the Lucian bottom lane 80 carry role. Catinator pulling out the Pike in the jungle. And Phantom of Temp with Orianna in the mid lane.
And then no free names locking down the Amumu on jungle for Team Taco Sauce. Not a Fox main. Definitely is a Fox main, bringing out the legendary Ahri. We did see her go legendary last week with that Social Bun on Morgana, supporting Temeni's Xayah. And then Meth on Kled. Welcome to the stream. Running Ignite in the top lane to go up against that Olaf.
Indeed. Now, one of the interesting things that I want to see is how this Pike does in the jungle, because I've seen him play a decent amount of support. I've also seen him mid, I've seen him top, I've seen him jungle. Pike is a champion who at this point is being played everywhere on the map. He's still extremely strong, and he even in the patch notes got a slight buff because they felt that they released him too weak. Riot, Rito, what are you doing? I mean, come on. But so Pyke is played all over the map. Being in the jungle is going to allow him to sneak away, go invisible, get his heals before coming back in. There's several squishy members of Ahri, Xayah, Morgana. However, if it was me, I would think Pyke's most attention would be on Kled in the top lane, because if you can kill him before he gets remounted, Kled is not the most mobile of champions. You get him slow.
No, he's not.
You get him off of his mount. He's going to be walking back. As long as you can guarantee that last hit, which, again, Pyke's ultimate does that, he should be going down. So if they can get their Olaf fed in the top lane, I don't care about Morgana Dark Binding. I don't care about Ahri Charm. I don't care about a Mumu Snare. I'm just going to be running through, killing all of your squishes.
Absolutely, and one of the things that to do with that too is Sixtion and Catinator coordinating their timing. If Catinator comes up there and Kled is still mounted, Olaf doesn't necessarily have the burst in a lot of situations to get him down to that point where Catinator can come in and get the execution. Meanwhile, if Olaf can spend some time picking away at Kled's health with the axes, it's going to be very easy for Catinator to come in and execute, like you said, that dismounted Kled. That's what they have to be targeting, because if you target a mounted Kled, he's just going to be able to get away. He does still have one mobility ability in that mounted form, so long as he doesn't use jousting to engage. And then on top of that, he does also have the pistol whenever he's dismounted. So if he's able to joust away and then pistol back even further, he does have a little bit of escapability if you catch a mounted Kled instead of a dismounted Kled.
Indeed. And one of the things is, for the Mumu as well, on the side of Taco Sauce, Mumu is one of those champions that doesn't get played very often. But because he doesn't get played very often, people very often will just not be used to the range of that bandage toss. He can come in from, it feels like a mile away. Sometimes it almost feels as long as an engage from like a Zac or something. But it's really kind of an off-tank meta. Nobody really builds 100% tank, mostly because you've got too many assassins in the game. We've got a lot more bruiser items that are really strong right now. So is Amumu going to be looking more for just gank, 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 or is he going to try to farm to a point in which he can be that super solid tank when it comes to the mid game?
What I'm looking for out of Amumu out of this particular fight, you can have Kled be that strong tank in the front line. Kled does a lot of damage with a Titanic Hydra, and Amumu needs to build a couple of damage items to really contribute to the team fights. If I'm being Amumu here, I'm looking to build maybe a Rod of Ages to start off after finishing my Cinderhulk, just so that I can start stacking up a little bit of AP, a little bit of extra mana to keep the Despair running, so that way he can engage in those team fights and then stay in the team fights and actually be a potent source of damage for his team, just in case one of those carries does manage to go down. That consistent damage from a tank, while it's not as much up front, it's definitely something that contributes to the fight in the long run.
Indeed. I think I actually need to jump my sound up, right, because I did take it down earlier, but we should be back to rocking and rolling as you load into the game. I don't have any fancy graphics for the camera movement yet, but that is something I'm working on. I had it on an old computer. I've switched over to a new computer. It's now got triple monitors and is running at 3 times the speed as it used to have, so don't worry, we're going to get that fancy camera movement once again in game. And Salic is missing. You've disappeared. What happened to you?
I disappeared? What do you mean what disappeared?
Why did you disappear?
Did I disappear?
You disappeared. It's on mine. That's on me. I'm bringing you back.
Okay.
Do not worry.
I was like I was freaking out just a little bit there. Like, what happened?
I apologize. I did not mean to. Did not mean to.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So we do see neither side invading, though. Talk about invading for a minute, because it's something that's been going back and forth in the meta. I love to invade, even if it doesn't always work out, but we saw a massive amount of invading at MSI, and what are the strategies when it comes to wanting to invade or wanting to just play it safe?
Well, one of the biggest invades that I look for when I'm playing here is the bot. I mean, obviously you want to go from red side. I see it a lot more from red side into blue side, going after the bot side, going out of that south quadrant red buff more often than anything else. We do see Olaf here positioning himself in the tri-brush on the top side. That might be something to look for with him being aggressive towards there. He might be looking to spy out something soon. Realistically, I don't like invades. They're a lot riskier than, it's a lot more risk than it is reward to it. If it does go poorly, if it does go well, it's not that beneficial to you. Unless, of course, you can get 2 or 3 kills out of it, get a couple flashes. But most of the time, you expend more flashes than you take in an invade, especially if you end up going 5 men into a 3-man like you would have seen on the bottom side here.
Yep. And there was a lot of potential for something with, say, a RE Charm or even that Bandage Toss from Mumu. But the issue is that sometimes when it comes to those costly spells, you lose laning presence once you get to the lane. So even if you do get that first blood, that gold only goes on to really one champion, and at that point, you are now a Ahri in the mid lane with Charm, or an Amumu who's stuck farming with a Bandage Toss, or any of those things. Morgana Dark Binding, some of those few, kind of like a Braum, that he doesn't really lose anything, as they are going to get engaged here. Nice double shots there from the Lucian, immediately into Dark Binding, Ignite ticking away on Morgana. That's going to force her to back. She should live and be fine, however, she's going to stay, so the Xayah is going to need to play very, very safe, not just getting engaged. He's in the top lane. Oh, he gets remounted. The Ignite's ticking away. He flashes in, but he's going to miss the last auto, and 6Jun flashes his way to safety at the last possible second.
Escapes there with just a sliver of health. Both their flashes expended on that. Yes, both their flashes expended on that, as well as Ignite from Kled. So he's down a summoner. Not too big a deal since he doesn't have that teleport anyway, so it's not going to be a map pressure advantage that wasn't already there.
So at
Reorganizing
this point, still no massive advantages. Morgana has decided to stay in lane. She just was using a lot of potions. She does have those rejuvenating biscuits that will keep coming in. One of the nice things about having that on the supportive role is that even if you do get chunked out a little bit, you kind of back up, play safe. She's got the Dark Binding, so there's still some risk of an engage. And you can just kind of keep an eye on the lane without having to go all the way back to base and lose a lot of pressure. As no free name's going to be caught out by Catinator there. He does have blue buff and red buff as well. The Catinator going in there gets the stun down. Is it going to be enough? Immediately into the Bandage Toss. The Ahri Charm's going to miss. No free name's forced to flash, but Catinator flashing to follow as well. The slow, the red buff is ticking away. No free names is still not following. He's too tanky. And first blood goes to Not a Fox main, getting in range with that orb just in time. Beautiful play. I cannot believe no free names lived that long. He even smited, I believe, to get a little extra help off of the chickens.
Yep, looked like off the chickens, and you gotta give credit to No Free Names for knowing to kite back there instead of trying to fight it out over here over in the river. Him kiting back gave Not a Fox main just enough room to where he definitely had lane pressure and lane pressure advantage, so that Phantom of Temp got there after Ahri did. To that fight to make sure that they secured that kill, so long as No Free Names stayed alive. And even if No Free Names had died there, First Blood would have gone to Catinator, but Not a Fox main definitely would have gotten the counter kill simply because of the fact that Ahri had the opportunity to roam first.
And they were just so invested. He was already deep into the enemy jungle. As in the top lane, 6Jun going to get engaged upon once again. That doesn't seem to have too much an issue. Social Bun knocked backwards, does get the spell shield, but it's AD damage coming out from the Lucian from Double Lift. Going to knock him down to just a sliver of health. Still staying around, maybe trying to bait something underneath the turret. But there's definitely opportunity for Reincarnation to just tank this turret and give the kill to Double Lift.
Honestly, if he engaged it, he might be able to do. He might do enough damage to get the kill there.
Jumping in onto Catinator once again, though. Oh, Pyke is gonna fall. Kled here with the damage. Beautiful play. He went in a bit too deep, trying to get the stun down, and the roam from Kled faster than Olaf following, as he's just trying to clear that farm in the top lane.
Yeah, Olaf didn't even budge there. He just spent it. That was really not the best engage out of Catinator. He did have Orianna coming up, but she's still not sick. She doesn't have the CC she needs to peel anything off of him if he does go in too deep like he ended up doing there.
Overnight, my world has changed. The gnawing hunger inside me.
What is?
I've become...
Give me just a second. No, you're fine. You can keep casting, but...
Job getting that tower dive here as Wincarnation gets a knockback onto Social Bun, pushes her out of range and out of ability to really do anything there.
So 0 and 3 kills right now over to the side of Taco Sauce. They are definitely feeling pretty confident at this point in the game. As Wincarnation, is he going to fall? Double Lift gets a trade of kills in the bottom lane, and it is ADC for ADC though on the side of HowBoutDat. So Double Lift should be decently happy with that. But that's one of the first times we've seen him engage from the bottom lane of Wincarnation and Double Lift actually fail and only do a trade of kills. But that being said, Double Lift is a little bit over 20 farm ahead of this Xayah. So he's still going to be coming out of lane a pretty decent chunk ahead.
Yeah, we see Xayah has already bought her BF sword. Let's see what Lucian picks up here. He's got a Bilgewater Cutlass and a couple extra daggers coming back to lane. So Xayah's going to have a little bit more damage on her abilities, but Lucian should have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to those on hits, especially while he's doing the Spell Slinger combos, as he trains one of those daggers out for boots to get a little bit more speed.
In the top lane, Kled going in once again on the 6th gen, not concerned with his damage as he's still sitting on just a couple daggers. It is already the Tiamat finish from this Kled. As he misses a cannon minion, GG, might as well surrender right now. Not quite. The Olaf definitely struggling though, trying to just get as much farm as possible. Other than getting jungle help, is there anything he can really do to turn this lane around?
Honestly, with that kill and the fact that Kled has a 14 CS lead, even jungle help might not help that much, simply because of where it is. Kled going for the tower dive here.
Yeah, he's not worried about it. There's the charge straight in and doesn't even get dismounted. Olaf trying to farm up, stuck between a Kled and a hard place of his turret. Timania, you're going to take a little damage in the bot lane, but you'll be able to walk out safely.
Walking out safely, getting a nice little retreat there. They're doing a good job, Temeni and Social are doing a good job making sure that Double Lift and Wincarnation aren't getting off to the massive start that we've seen out of them very frequently when they play on stream. They're not getting any major advantages themselves. Of course, now 30 CS ahead for TSM Double Lift, so they're not getting the farm they need, but at least they're not giving up kills.
And that's one of the major things, especially when it comes to the bottom lane, is it's so easy to just kind of get steamrolled and get, being rolled over. After giving one kill over, you give a second, you get a third, you get a fourth. And they've got a lot of really good movement from making sure that Alistar is just having to wait patiently. Now, he is level 6, so he could try to dive here. He does have the ultimate and be able to tank up quite a lot. Double Lift poking away on the turret. Think that, though, is the end game. They're just going to slowly whittle down this turret and continue to force Taco Sauce to lose farm in that bottom lane.
I was just about to say that. They just keep pushing in the lane and threatening that dive, so in the end, Taco Sauce has to just concede.
Wincarnation goes in, gets some good damage down to Cone. He's going to miss quite a lot, though, with the flash from Morgana, but it doesn't matter because the Wincarnation lockdown on Xayah was enough for Lucian to finish it off, and they get another kill in the bottom lane. Right now, the only 2 kills for HowBoutDat on that Lucian.
Well, we're talking right now about, keep talking about how they just keep slowly pushing in this tower, and then they allow the wave to come out just a little bit to give them enough room to go for the dive and get a little damage on before they actually have to dive the tower, and that's exactly what ends up happening as we see Catnator coming in.
Yeah, trying to get some help onto Meth, though. He does save the Olaf for the moment. Why are you going back in? 6 jump, just leave. Just leave. Wants to throw the axe for the slow, but the green-mounted Kled might try to dive this. Mumu heads through the bot lane, tried to defend the turret, and looks like Kled won the 2v2, or 2v1, though he didn't get any extra kills from that. He could try to use his ultimate he's going to have in about 14 or so seconds to kill
his ultimate's coming. 6jun needs to back right now or he is going to die to that ultimate.
Sometimes it really... Oh, he's waiting. Catnator's still off to the side, so Cat could try for a dive. I'm just going to walk in. There's a Tiamat. Misses the bear trap on a rope, but the turret's shooting away. And Catnator misses the harpoon, misses the stun, misses everything, throws on the ultimate anyway, but still gets finished off. And man, Meth is on a roll.
It was a fantastic job by Meth using the mechanic Kled has, where when you get dismounted, you actually drop any tower aggro that you have. So he knew that he could get he knew it had enough damage to get the kill on Olaf prior to his dismount. Gets the dismount and then backs out of tower range before re-engaging onto Catnator. Fantastic job by Meth in order to secure his advantage, as he is now 5-0-0 on that Kled. Massive advantages in the top lane. Let's see how well they can snowball that into other lanes.
Yeah, no free names coming to the bottom lane. It's going to get the bandage toss on the Alistar. That's the tanky member. They don't really want that. He goes ahead and starts the ultimate, trying to find the stun down onto no free names. The Black Shield keeps it safe from Moan. Knight's tipping away. Social Bun in trouble. Going to get taken down with a nice relentless pursuit from the Lucian. Looks like Xayah will burn the field to get the movement out safely as well. As Phantom Temp going to get chunked to half in the mid lane. In the bottom lane, though, still trouble for Team Taco Sauce despite the Amumu gank. Wincarnation was just expecting it, ready, had the ultimate, and clean turnaround.
And it's not entirely on Wincarnation here, actually. If you watch back on that last play, you can see that Social Bun actually used the Black Shield on Amumu, as Amumu was taking damage from Double Lift. You mentioned earlier that Black Shield will only block magic damage, but Double Lift deals full physical damage. It'll block any of the CC coming out of Alistar if you get it on there soon enough, but it's not blocking any damage. That Black Shield is completely ineffective at the moment.
It was used, I believe, to keep the Alistar stunned. Oh, and no Fox main. Going to go in. Nice stopwatch to keep Orianna alive for the moment. Phantom attempt flash immediately when Fox started to go for the dive. Doesn't have flash, doesn't have ignite. Oh, or might have been enough. There's the ult from the Orianna as well. That's good damage. And holy crap, Phantom of Temp on Orianna? What is this? Are we playing right now on XLNC stream? I don't even understand, because Phantom Temp does not play this champion. And yet, he's doing a pretty decent job staying viable in farm. Only 8 farm down. Beautiful stopwatch as well. Keeps him alive. Some good plays there. And I didn't even realize that was Phantom of Temp on the Orianna. What is this? 6 Jun in the mid lane, or top lane, using the ultimate, but is just going to get executed. Doesn't have any tank stats. Is going the damage route with the Tiamat as well, but he's so far behind. Almost 40 CS behind.
40 CS behind, 4 deaths to 6 kills. It is just a massacre in that top lane, and Catinator, he tried to help it out, and now he's not finding any effective ganks anywhere else right now. He's just kind of having to sit back and farm, because he's got one lane that's ahead, and they've already ended their lane phase. They're starting to roam, and that's probably going to be what sets this off. Like you talked about, you wanted to see this team grouping a lot sooner, and they just haven't.
Alistar getting from the engage behind. The stun goes down as well. Perfect setup for Catinator, and Wincarnation, the jerk support, steals it away. But still a beautiful engage from HowBoutDat. And this is the grouping power we talked about. When they're able to get 2, 3, 4 members together, it is painful. Double Lift in the top lane, maybe going down Wincarnation here to save him, though, getting the knock up. They disengage. Can Net get out of this one now, as he was 1v3? No free names coming on the side, trying to save him, but will still fall. And HowBoutDat rotates faster, gets themselves another kill.
And it's like we were just talking about. Bot lane getting out, getting onto the map, and roaming around has started to trigger the rest of this team's team fight, as we see no free names getting engaged on now.
Yeah, he is going to be jumped on. Catinator going to throw down the ultimate as well. The knockup is just too much. HowBoutDat secures yet another. Also, I do have the instant replay set up and ready to roll, so whenever it is that you find a team fight that you're just got it, let me know, and we'll get that rocking out. As Catinator going to take a little bit of damage, kind of sneaking himself away. I wonder if that's a graphical, or not even a graphical, but just a glitch.
Which one?
Is Pyke's, when he goes invisible, is that audio like 3 times louder than everything else in the game for you?
I did not notice it, but I will be paying attention to it now.
Audio set to. Do you know what your audio level is set to?
I do not off the top of my head.
Mine is set to 27, so it's fairly low, but the Pyke audio when he goes invisible is like really, really loud. And I'm wondering if that's a minor bug that in spectator mode, Pyke's audio is 100%, whereas everyone else is a lot less. Zeno ended up saying yes to it in the chat, but...
Okay, I've got my audio, my master's at 100 and everything else is at 75, so that might be a bug.
Because you wouldn't notice it because your master set at 100, whereas mine set at the master 27. We'll have to play with it. That's interesting. I might report that to Riot if it seems to truly be an issue. But back to the game. 6 kills to 8. surprisingly fairly even though the power is coming out from entirely different locations. I mean, the 6 and 1 Kled in the top lane at this point is becoming almost unkillable in a 1v1, sometimes even a 1v2. Nice charm onto the Alistar, keeps him from getting the head, but he still will get it though with the ultimate from Orianna to pull her back on top of it as well. With the ultimate though, Ahri does get herself out alive, but this siege onto the mid lane should be pretty powerful. Kled trying to get in from the side, killing those raptors before moving into the mid lane will mean that that turret will be dropped down to half and should actually fall as well. No one here to defend from the side of Taco Sauce.
They are collapsing, though. You do see Amumu coming in from behind, as well as Gotta Love Meth coming in.
Trying to get the engage onto No Fox Name. Will get killed underneath the turret as the Mumu engage onto 3 members. Tries to get the snares down. The rest of the team coming in. Kled dashing in. Mumu flashes out to safety for the moment. Meth on a killing spree. Gets that shut down. Continuing on now. The rest of the team. Social Bun trying to set up for another Dark Binding, but I think that the Alistar should protect them from that. They should be able to disengage completely. So, a botched engage from HowBoutDat as the Mumu comes over the wall, keeping the rest of the team from following Katnator going under the turret.
Well, and it was a good job by Meth getting the dive on. He managed to get back and just barely tag TSM Double Solution with that joust, initial joust, so he got the second jump after the relentless pursuit from Lucian in order to follow him and make sure that he got that kill. And basically the fight turned from there, because when one team's Fed member is dead and the other team's Fed member is alive, the team with the alive Fed member generally is the one that's going to win that fight.
And that's where most of this team's gold from HowBoutDat is on the Lucian. 3, 1, and 1. Doing very well. 40 farm up over the Xayah. But once he's killed, it all falls apart. Now, the same can be said for Taco Sauce if the Kled falls. So for them, it's almost about the kind of said protect the Kog'Maw composition. It's protect the Kled. Get the engage. Let Kled get to that back line. He's going to eviscerate those squishy champions as well, because he's got even that Jarm a little more tanky as the pipe goes in, getting good damage down, picks out no free names. Pick composition, I'm sorry, HowBoutDat's got the pick this time around, and also going to get the mountain.
Well, to speak a little bit further to the gold advantage that's on Kled and Lucian, if you look at their individual gold, Lucian is 2,000 gold ahead of every other member of his team, at least. Kled is almost 3,000 gold ahead of every other member of his team. So the two of them definitely have a massive advantage over their team in and of itself. So those two are the two we have to watch whenever we're looking at these fights and seeing who's going to win, coming out on top.
So Kled pushing that top lane, was able to get the trade from the Mountain Drake for the top lane first turret, cleared that up for himself, and gets all that local gold to himself, continuing to stack that gold lead we were just talking about. And at this point is still a good ways away though from evening up the turrets. 3-1, still in favor for HowBoutDat, and they have that Alistar tank starting to come online. He's still on a couple of items here, but he is about to complete his first tanky items, and that's the issue for Team Taco Sauce, is they have yet to really get much damage underneath their belt. Ahri's only sitting on a Luden's Echo, even Xayah just finished the Storm Razor, and so there's still a ways to go before they can deal with that tank Alistar if he gets a full-on engage.
Yep, if he gets a full-on engage, then on top of that, you have to take into account Olaf has now finished his Bramble Vest, so he's going to be reflecting some of the damage back at Xayah once Xayah begins targeting him. I think he might have been targeting Gotta Love Meth with that. I'm not 100% certain on that one.
Oh, no free names. Just with advantage toss. I don't think you wanted to find that, though. The rest of the team is lagging a little bit behind. Pike setting up the harpoon, does not go for the pull. And so the Rift Herald will fly over to HowBoutDat. They should be able to drop that in any lane they want to push, especially if they have that Lucian Alistar. There's just so little that can be done to stop the Lucian from getting that poke damage onto the turret, as bottom lane is pushed out for the side of Team Taco Sauce. But so far, Taco Sauce is just bleeding objectives.
Well, and what I'm looking for right now, especially with Taco Sauce bleeding objectives, is for HowBoutDat to actually revisit the area. They still have vision control over the Baron pit now, and Baron did just spawn in. It might be prudent of them to take a look and see if they can maybe bait a fight over in that area using that control ward they've got set up in the Pixel Brush.
Another thing they could do is, because they just got that Rift Herald, if they had timed it right, you see the Olaf in the bottom lane, it would have been an amazing play for Olaf to pick up the Rift Herald, Eye of the Herald, and take that to the bottom lane, drop it off, and then everyone go back to the Baron. So you have a free pushing bottom lane for the hard push onto the turret. Phantom Temp going to be engaged upon here. Kled goes in deep. That clean kill. Amumu with the lockup as well. Will find the Lucian on top of that. Not a Foxman trying to get some damage down. Gets knocked up. The Lucian's going to be clearing up one, clearing up two. Going to return 2 for 2 as Zaya unable to get into the fight, and Kled just flashed out. Or he didn't even flash. He just jumped out of the fight earlier on. Zaya in trouble now as Zixon's going to come in here. Uses the ultimate trying to get those feathers. But the ultimate from Olaf negates it completely as Meth. Getting some good damage down on the Alistar, but the heal keeps alive for the moment.
It's a remount.
And Lucian turns live. The remount keeps alive for the moment. And there's the feather recall, though, from the Zaya to many. Able to finish off the Olaf as he is a little bit deep. He goes in, though. Is it going to be enough? The heal tries to give him movement speed as Kled comes right back in. He's waiting for the remount. He's still immune for the moment. Gets the kill on one. He's so low health, but he gets the heal proc on top of it. TSM double it. One more auto attack will fall down. Too many cleans it up for an extended ace from the side of Taco Sauce with a crazy plays in the mid lane.
Absolutely nuts there as we...
Oh, nice pull
That was
there
it.
from the Pike, but immediate Dark Binding. Social Button going to be knocked right back with the ultimate from Oriana. Clean play there. The assassination from Catinator going to guarantee the last bit of that one. So they do get a final kill trade. So at the end, I think it was a total of 5 for 3, but still Taco Sauce with some amazing play, and Meth on this Kled is a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely a force to be reckoned with. I've got that fight coming up for you here. As we see, I've got it right from the engage. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead, go for it.
Okay, right from the engage, we see Meth coming in here. Gets Phantom of Temp instead of Double Lift, but he manages to follow it up. As you see, no free names and Not a Fox main coming in. Meth actually drops tower aggro there, and so you see Not a Fox main actually has tower aggro here, takes a couple of extra shots, flashes into the wall, and that kind of forces everything where Double Lift is able to get these initial 2 kills, as Social Bun's taking a lot of damage on the backside here. So we speed this up. Get past this little bit here.
So I think we're going to go right back to the game as Kled is
live.
engaging once again, flashing in, but the ultimate from Oriana going to negate just a little bit. However, she's rooted up, will fall. Alistar tries in, gets a knock on to Kled. Meth will finally fall. The god will be ended. He does bleed after all. Pike getting the execution. Morgana also finished off. Once again, engaging underneath double turrets. And that's one of the questionable plays from Team Taco Sauce so far, is that they've been making some decent team fight choices, but they don't do anything follow-up to get objective. They're still sitting on 1 turret and no drakes. There was no rotation to get control around the dragon so they could pick it up as soon as it spawns in the next 30 seconds. There was no rotation to get control around the Baron pit, so now it's going over to HowBoutDat unless it gets stolen away. They dropped the Rift Herald as well. He's going to start free pushing in the mid lane. Taco Sauce wins a great team fight and then has no follow-up on the turrets.
Absolutely, they're not following up on there as we see HowBoutDat getting the Baron down. Catinator went ahead and dropped the Rift Herald. I guess it looked like the timer was about to run out on that one, so he had to drop it in order to get it to do anything as they pick it up. And yeah, I did just hear that audio bug you were just talking about a second ago as Catinator went invisible there. That was super loud. Holy cow.
Pike likes to splash. He's making a splash for sure this game as he's trying to pull Amumu in, gets the trade, turn around the stun as well, throws down the ultimate. Amumu trying to do what he can, will fall. Burns a couple ultimates on the way out there, so may be able to help Taco Sauce a bit if they clear aside to try to fight over this Infernal Drake, but I don't think they will as they are distracted by a blue buff. So double Drakes and Baron to HowBoutDat. And one of things is, despite Catinator dropping the Rift Herald as it walked his way to the mid lane, it did keep 2 people distracted. And Mumu was there. He could have tried to steal away the Baron in a desperate play, but instead, as Alistar engages here, they're going to be able to pick up 2 more. Kled may fall, and he does. Oriana a double kill. Phantom of Temp. Where did this Oriana come from? Wow. As 15 to 17, Taco Sauce try to desperately hold on to the mid lane second tier turret.
Desperately holding on as we see Olaf going for the split push in the bottom lane as well. He does not have his teleport up, so if they were to engage, they do not have that. However, once again, we're talking about those Fed members. Double Lift is here, and Meth is still down. He's still got another 20 seconds on his timer as we get the dive coming in from Wincarnation.
Yeah, Wincarnation being that champion knock around those 3 names, forcing the flash. The Amumu now completely on the run. Should be able to live, but that means there's no one left to defend as Double Lift, gets charmed up for the moment, but he decides to go in. One auto attack, flies in, finishing off Not a Fox main, and that's going to be clearing up the inhibitor turret. Inhibitor should fall as well. Amumu and Kled are here though, so they could try to re-engage this. Too many coming in from this side. Social Bun getting the speed boost, and the Reincarnation knocks up 3. He flashes forward. They have disengaged the fight completely, unless no free names try to just keep it up. Goes right back in. Does he have the ultimate? No, it's not available, so Reincarnation turns it right back around. Stun onto the Mummy. Double Lift with the kill. Meth tries to 1v4, gets 1, as Temenia trying to get the damage down on the minions, push it forward, but it's bannered up minions into the game. There's not a lot they can do, as how about that? Go right back and Double Lift with the ult, puts the Xayah extremely low, forced to ult as well, snares up just 1 member, but that's still going to fall. Phantom of Templar. What is this from this guy? Approximately finally assassinates Phantom of Temp, says, you know what, I can do that too. I'll take one out, but Inhibitor will still fall for how about that?
Yep, that was a long extended fight, both right up to the inhibitor and then back in to capture the inhibitor, as we do see Sixjun and the rest of How About That rotating top to go ahead and claim this tower as their prize. And they've got a firm hold on this game. They're actually down in kills, but they're up almost 7,000 gold overall. So massive, massive gold lead that honestly, it's going to take a big team fight. But the problem is that, as we talked about at the start of the game, How About That is the team fighting team. They're the team we're looking for to take advantage of the Wombo combo to destroy their enemies.
Oh, you know what? I bet I know why the cheering isn't working. Interesting. Okay, maybe I do know why it's not working. Give me just a minute to play with the cheering and you'll figure it out, as that is such a funny bug from Pipe.
It just scares the snot out of me every time I'm expecting something in normal volume and then boom!
Splish, splash, taking a bath. So at this point, 18 kills to 19. How about that? Still in the lead, but the kill lead has actually been taken over by Taco Sauce. There's still a chance for them to come back. Again, it comes down to the Dark Bindings from Morgana, the Bandage Toss from Moo, finding that pick. If they can take out the 8 and 2 Lucian or the 6 and 3 Orianna, the fight could be in their favor. At this point, though, it is getting a little bit on the scary side as we get later into the game, because the 1 and 5 Olaf has actually built a decent amount of damage now. He's got the Hydra, he's got the Black Cleaver as well, so he's going to come online as a damage threat as the game progresses. But really, it's still all about that Lucian and Orianna, and can Wincarnation defend them? And he's been doing a great job so far.
He's been doing a fantastic job. Every time we see Meth going in with that Kled, trying to joust in onto the Lucian, we're seeing a knock-up coming out of Wincarnation in order to make sure that he keeps that Lucian safe, keeps his carry alive. I would be curious to see Meth go for an engage with his ultimate, as...
Catinator running away, gets the double stun down, and cheering is now online and working, guys. I got the cheering fixed, which is pretty darn awesome. Interesting.
Push has finally come to fruition here.
Okay, cool. So cheering is online and active. There you go. So now you guys can cheer. DF Dive, no worries, you can skip out the next game. Don't feel free to join into game number 3, as we will be doing 3 games. This is only game number 1 of the evening, and it's turning into quite the game, as Reincarnation setting out for an engage in the top lane. Gets 2. Nice pull. Orianna pulling back as well. No free names, trying to snare up multiple members underneath the turn. Alistar doing a great job of punching so far. The stun onto the Olari as she gets pulled by the Harpoon from the Pike as well. Now Sixjun getting the slows down. Not a box trying to do as much damage as possible. Here. There's not much that this Xayah can do besides ult and run away. Flashes to try to get a little extra damage down. They have not taken the top lane turret, though. The harpoon onto the Kled, but can he get the quadra kill? There's plenty of opportunity, gets one. Unstoppable is setting up, does not have the hider, it's already been used, gets dismounted, the hook the pull away, and the Lucian on a killing spree, 12-2, cleaning up for an ace and moving into the turret. It's going to be the Nexus turrets under fire. Already one falls. Mumu, the only one alive. The Mumu is already on. The Morgana coming up in just a moment for Social Bun, but I don't think he has anything left, as these three members of How About That should be able to close out game number 1. Trying to pad the stats a little bit. Game's already over there. Too late. The team will thumbs up for the finish. How About That takes over and wins game number 1.
And that was a fantastic final fight out of How About That. I did like Meth's decision there. He retreated after taking almost dismount damage, back to the fountain, healed up, and came back in. The problem was, I don't think he must not have communicated what he was doing to his team, because his team did the engage, kept going in on that fight, and as a result, he didn't have any teammates to back him up when he was ready to re-engage that fight.
All right, so I'm just going to throw it out there that the queue is still open. So anyone who's played in game 1 can rejoin game 2. It looks like they're already doing that, setting up for game number 2, which is fantastic and just what we like to see. There we go. Look at that, already filling out. And we're going to start with the Bacon King and Purple Nim, Soul 7, and DRF Dive says that he's unavailable for game number 2, and we'll just go from there. In the meantime, though, MVPs and honorable mentions for the losing team. Give it away, Salek. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, for the losing team, I need to give. I'm looking at everybody's stats here, looking at total damage numbers and everything. As far as honorable mention goes, I'm going to give that to Not a Fox main. Did a good job near the end, especially getting a couple targets down and getting some assassinations in, making sure that you could put some of those targets down, especially that Orianna from Phantom of Temp was starting to become a nuisance. Not a Fox main did manage to get a couple of kills onto that Orianna and get rid of her, so that they only had to deal with one threat. That said, though, MVP has to go to God I Love Meth. Fantastic play on the Kled. Been a while since I've seen one played that well. Very clean lane against the Olaf. Very clean lane against the Pyke when he was up there as well. Fantastic 2v1 early on in the game. Unfortunately, just there wasn't enough follow-up from the team. He wasn't able to turn that massive lead into big team fights for his team, and as a result, they ended up not coming out with a win this time.
This time around, over for the winning team. Unless you feel comfortable, you want to do give MVP honorable mentions for the winning
Oh, no, go right ahead, please. You go ahead.
All right. For the winning team, Cat and Air went saying for MVP in the jungle. I don't know so much about that. I think that at the end of the day, honorable mention is going to go over to, it's a little bit tough, but I think that I am going to honor, and y'all can rage at me if you want to, but I'm honoring Phantom of Temp, because this guy, and it's heavily based out of the fact that he doesn't play mid lane. He has pretty much never shown this champion before on this stream, and played a very clean game. Not the greatest game in the world, not just like mind-blowingly crazy and awesome and everything, but it's so rare to see someone pick up a champion that they don't play and play it in a very just clean way. And so I think for that reason alone, which kind of comes a little bit from the history of the stream itself, so I know it's a little bit there, but I'm giving honorable mention to Phantom of Temp. For MVP, I'm giving it over to, is it going to be Wincarnation? Is it going to be TSM Double Lift? It's got to be Jake Kelton, Daisy MVP, because obviously
Daisy MVP.
I am going to give it to TSM Double Lift, and part of it was because the bottom lane, we've seen Wincarnation take over the bottom lane before with engages. However, the bottom lane from Taco Sauce was playing incredibly defensive. That being said, Wincarnation didn't have much opportunity to actually get in, whether it was diving the turret or just trying to make engages happen at all. So he played a lot of just sitting around waiting for something to occur. The reason why I'm giving it to TSM Double Lift is because he still won the lane on a very close range. One of the closest range ADCs in the game, Lucian, underneath a turret. I mean, how many times did he bounce in just on the edge of the turret or walk into turret range? The turret starts to target him, get a little bit of damage, and walk out before the turret hit him, or even take a shot and then heal it up. He poked and harassed and pushed and poked and harassed on one of the shortest ADC ranges in the game and won the lane by 40 farm before they even got the turret down. Really, really well played. So while normally we give Wincarnation a massive, I mean, there's still a huge shout out for some of his plays, TSM Double Lift definitely gets MVP for it.
I was going to say the exact same thing. So